Well, Mark, a quite dramatic afternoon here at Edgar Street. How did you view the game as a whole this afternoon?
Obviously, a game of two halves. It's most probably the first 45 minutes is the best we've played in terms of attacking prowess, linking, quality. The goals were unbelievable. Possibly could have had another couple as well. And then, we're going at half time. The lads are tuned in, they're saying all the right things. We come out for the second half. I wouldn't say we played badly. I'd say it was a similar type of game. We didn't put our chances away at one end, and then, we allowed them to get to the edge of our box, and they've hit three, very good strikes that have beat Callum. And it's not the first time here. Something always seems to happen when we come here. We've had, I think a couple of years ago we had 2 sent off. Last year we had the manager sent off. This year it was a 3-0 into a 3-all in. I think we were winning 3-1 in stoppage time. The lads in there are angry, disappointed, and it's been a good discussion to remind them of the positives that today. We most probably created enough chances to win 5 games. We've just got to get it right in the middle of the pitch as well as at both ends. But ultimately it's a disappointment. We've got a point. I think when we were travelling here such a long way, we said we'd take a point, but the manner in which we've got the point is obviously going to be disappointing and very frustrating.
The team, there's obviously you made some changes for Saturday's game against Peterborough, and you've kept that same lineup for the past 3 weeks. Do you feel that week on week you're sort of finding out your best team, or certainly the team that's certainly at the moment getting you consistent results week in, week out?
Well, it's a case of these lads have earned the shirt and they're keeping it. The front three are linking really well. The midfield is working incredibly hard. Up until today, the defence was solid and very reliable. We haven't been undone in behind today. It was all in front of us, which is a disappointment. But as the performance of the last 3-4 games, the whole of October really, it's been quite a settled side because of the standard of the players who've earned the shirts. It's frustrating for the lads on the bench, but when they put performances in like today, like the previous 2, 3, 4 games, I'm not going to make many changes because unless injury or suspension came, it's a group that are certainly giving everything.
And as you mentioned before, obviously it's a place that Curzon maybe haven't had the best of success on in recent years. You got that early goal. How important is an early goal? Well, any game it's good to get an early goal, but especially here, this stadium where the supporters obviously going to make themselves loud and get behind their team.
Yeah, the talk was about that before the game. We learnt a big lesson at Chester in both games that we went there this season, that if you give them encouragement, their crowd will raise them and they'll play even better. If you can get the first goal, even though it was a gift, Alex Curran will take it because he's in the right place at the right time. Then that just quietens the crowd, and obviously their crowd booing them as they go off at half time means that we're on top. Second half, it's just frustrating that we should have put it to bed. We had numerous chances, but the argument is if you score 3 away from home, you should win, you shouldn't draw. And that's something we have to learn from, take it on the chin, because it's a quick turnaround. Obviously there's a game on Tuesday.
And how about some of the quality of those goals, especially Ben Darby's as well, and obviously the 2 other players who've been in really good form for October? How did you see the other goals?
Yeah, it's pleasing. I feel like we look very dangerous on the attack, and we're creating chances. And like I said, I think today we've most probably created more chances than we have done all season. the fact we didn't put them away. There's a few good saves in there by their keeper, a few good blocks, possibly one or two that we may have got a penalty, and a couple really that should score that didn't, and ultimately we paid the price for that. But we can't just blame the lads up front because they did score 3 goals. We've got to look at the defence. We've got to make sure that we're getting up to people who are going to take a shot and getting blocks in and putting your body on the line. And it's just a frustrating afternoon, really, even though we've come all this way and we've took a point.
And like you say, obviously not through the warrant of trying or making some other really good chances and just not taking them. Obviously, how just frustrating is that for you and the rest of the management staff that you felt like you could have scored 4 or 5?
Of course, it's frustrating for us, but we're all in it together. We set out with a plan to try and come here and win. We're not coming for a draw. We're not coming to try and stifle Hereford. We want to go at teams and we want to win games. We put ourselves in a position to win, and as a collective, we've got to accept responsibility that we didn't do enough late on in that game, to stop their threat, which was really up to the edge of our box. It wasn't in our box, and we've got to learn from that, and we've got to turn it around and go again on Tuesday.
Obviously the lads are going to be frustrated after, like you say, it was 3-1 in injury time and then to score 2 quick goals and make it 3-3 at the end. What did you say to the players at full time?
They're speaking themselves sometimes. I've said what I needed to say, and we, players, senior players have their say, and everybody moans and groans and is disappointed. Hopefully they look at themselves, they're not trying to blame other people, and if we do that, we continuously look at ourselves, we'll get a little bit more out of each other every week. And there is a lot of players who are playing very well at the moment and have played exceptionally well today, and that's what makes it more disappointing than anything that we didn't take the 3 points, is that pretty much every player that started was very good today. Couldn't even fault defenders, even though we conceded 3 goals. We defended very well. We just got to get up to that edge of the box and get blocks in and make it a little bit more difficult for people to get shots away.
And how important now is it that you try bounce back with a positive result on Tuesday night is when you host Spennymoor?
Yeah, obviously it's another tough game against the top team. Spennymoor up in the playoffs. I don't know how they've gone on in the cup today, but when Spennymoor comes to Curzon, it's always a difficult game for us. They make it very difficult. They're a good attacking side, got good balance. Again, it's just a game we look forward to. Massive challenge, and hopefully we've learnt something today that will help us on Tuesday. And if we have, we'll be better for it in the long run.